Hi, welcome back. We are about to embark on part 3 of my declutter. This is going to be third video of 4 total. We have already gone through all of my base and prep products, all of my blushes and bronzers, and all of my lips, minus lip liners that I just now realized. However, I don't own that many lip liners, so we're keeping them all. Anyway, what I have in front of me is my entire eyeshadow collection. I feel overwhelmed by this, and there are definitely palettes that are going to go. So I've got my shadow sticks and single shadows, my single shadows that I'm keeping here. And again, before we jump into this does not include anything new on my channel. That is all in a basket that I'm testing, that I will continue to test, and we will make our decision in the next declutter, which will probably be spring and summer, as I only plan on doing these once or twice a year. I don't collect enough for it to be necessary to do beyond that because I do beauty planning, which is where I plan a wish list for all season of the years. If you're interested, I will link the Get Ready With Me where I go over that down below. Let's get into this, and I'm looking down and I already see the first round, so let's do that really quick. So with eyeshadows, I have been feeling a little overwhelmed for a while, so I actually did like a preliminary declutter, and let's walk through what those are now. The first one is the Flower Beauty Jungle Lights. I was so excited, and this formula is bananas, but I never touched this, but now that I'm looking at it, I'm going to put it in the need to test pile, and that's that. The one I know for sure I'm getting rid of is the Neon palette by Huda Beauty. If you did not see the news articles about this, these are not safe for the eye. I thankfully never wore these, although I had all of the Barbie fantasies in my head. These are gorgeous, but I think I can find these shades elsewhere from more reliable sources. I'm also just not a huge Huda Beauty fan, which we will get into a little bit more later. Then in terms of eyeshadow sticks, I am going to go ahead and declutter the silver, light blue, and this chaos color from Urban Decay. I'm not a huge eyeshadow stick person, and if I'm reaching for an eyeshadow stick, it's for a neutral look, and these are clearly not that for me, so I'm going to go ahead and declutter those. Then next, this broke my heart. It is Twin Flames, and I have it in the shade Bay. I was ready to buy every shade of these, however, this feels so odd on my eyelids, and I can't take it, and knowing that I have so many duochrome shadows that I need to use, I'm going to go ahead and pass this on to someone who will appreciate it. Same with the Ulta Beauty. I just don't reach for liquid shadows like this. If I do, it's going to be the one that I have from About Face, and while it is a very similar color, it has a little bit more warmth, whereas this kind of takes me into zombie territory, so I'm going to pass this one along. Alright, then this one is the Danessa Myricks Color Fix in the shade Milky Way. It is a beautiful, it has silver and gold in it, but it is kind of silvery. I love this. I just don't use it, so I need to put it in the Try It More Girl pile. Then next, I'm going to hang on to this and put it in the Try It More Girl pile, which is also kind of like purgatory, like if you don't get used in the next 6 months, you're out of here type of thing. But it's the Auric Entice Smoke Reflect. It's the green shade from Holiday. If you would like to see me do a kind of a whole Auric review, let me know. I mentioned in my other video, it was one of the first ones I filmed, but the footage was not great, and therefore it never saw the internet. But that is going to go in the Play More pile. Then the second to last is the Charlotte Tilbury Oyster Pearl. It's just not the shade for me. It doesn't do what it does to other people's eyes, and I don't prefer the formula. I prefer some of the other formulas we're going to get into, so I'm going to pass that along, and same with the ColourPop Super Shocks. These are not dried out yet, so someone can get use out of them, and they're just not my favorite, so unfortunately I'm going to pass those along. Okay, I think we can get through individual shadows fast, so let's go ahead and do those. I have 2 of the Wet n Wild Color Icon in Brulee. These are my favorite for setting the lid and giving me a bright inner corner without being stark white. I've been using this since college. I just picked these up. They're like 99 cents. They're a little bit harder to find now, but if you can find them, the Brulee shade in specific, it's a beautiful creamy matte formula that goes on highly pigmented and is beautiful for really blocking out the eyeshadows when you need it, or to help blend. They're just lovely, and they're so cheap. I love these. I bought a backup because it is kind of hard to find. If you do come across these, I do highly recommend this shade, especially if you are a similar skin tone to me. Next is the About Face Beauty and the Fluid Eye Paint. This is in the Capulets. I love this, especially for like a one and done look with a lot of mascara. I used this in my coral video. I will link below. I love this. This is such a good formula. It blends really nicely. Then the NYX glitter glue, keeping this, especially with the duochromes that I've been loving. This really does seem to help. I'm really happy with this purchase. It's under $10. It's a really nice glitter glue, and it's just nice to have on hand. Then I have my single from It's Belle Cosmetics. This is in Rose Water. It is gorgeous. I applied this in a really chaotic Get Ready With Me. It looks like it's chunky in the pan, but it goes on so smooth and is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely keeping that. Then I have one Bobbi Brown stick in golden pink and a Laura Mercier in metallic taupe. This is probably my most used cream shadow stick. I love it. It's gorgeous. It really complements my eyes. Oh my god, what a mess. And then I have actually used this Bobbi Brown stick quite a few times, and it is very nice as well. Very similar. This one has a little bit more kind of coppery gold to it, whereas this one is more rose gold pink. Keeping. I will say where these come in handy too for me is travel. It's such an easy one and done look. Then I have this really, really old Reflex transparent teal glitter from MAC. I keep it in case I'm doing Halloween makeup and I need glitter. It's the only glitter I've ever owned. Then we have the shadow sticks. I have 3 from AF94, which are $8, I believe, maybe $9. I have one in a champagne shade. What is this called? Sweet and Low. I have it in a kind of plummy brown, which is Thrift Shopper. And then I also have it in Silent Foam, which is a very deep plum. I really love the formula. I have a video on those. I will continue to use these, and I definitely want to compare them to the About Face sticks, which I picked up 2 shades of. Then I will keep the Thrive Brilliant Eye Brightener in the shade Estrella. It's just a really nice inner corner highlight. Just a bright kind of champagne. This one is a little bit more brightening in the inner corner, but is very similar to the Sweet and Low from AF94. So if you're looking for a dupe, go with AF94. And then the last shadow stick I have is Laura Mercier in Au Naturel. This is a beautiful all over the lid one and done, or it helps build the crease with any of these shadow sticks that I've showed. This is a staple for me. I love this one. So we're not really getting rid of anything there, but I wasn't expecting to. This is kind of just miscellaneous liquid pencil glitter glue kind of things, and I don't overbuy that. What I overbuy is, again, Phytosurgence, and I have 3 of the Victoria lid lusters. I'm not getting rid of any of these. Again, the Phytosurgence formula is beautiful, especially if you want a quick eyeshadow look. I have many videos on those. I have Tea Rose, Chiffon, and Honey from Victoria Beckham, and I just ordered Starlight, so I will be keeping all of these. I'm not going to go through them or swatch them because we have quite a bit more to get through, so just know that I'm keeping all of those. I'm going to have to start scooting through this because Frank's freaking out. I'm also covered in glitter from that It's Belle Cosmetics. So we're just going to live our glitter fantasy. I think I'll be able to get through these palettes. I'm not going to swatch them just so we can kind of move through these. But let's start with Huda Beauty. I'm going to keep this particular palette, which is Mauve Obsessions. There is nothing mauve about this to me. This is very like burgundy cranberry, but I love it. But I don't, because her shades always go very pink on me, and these kind of special shades leave a lot to be desired. They're just, you can see I've really dug in there trying to get it to work. What I want to keep this for is duping situations, to dupe these mattes, because that's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to keep it, but it's going to go in kind of that archive box like my ColourPop Aphrodisiac, so I'll put it right here. The next is the Anastasia Soft Glam number 2. I love this. I'm going to keep this. I will probably whip this out when I'm doing my cousin's wedding makeup later this year. It's just a really nice palette. You can see I've really put in a lot of work on, what is that, Tempera and Dreamer. I love it. This is my favorite crease shade of all times, this Dusty Rose. I like the Anastasia formula. I know that it's powdery, but it's so smooth and pigmented. I just love it. It does a lot of the work for me, so I'm going to keep this, and I love that this is an option at the $29 price point, and especially you'll see that I'm getting more into smaller palettes where I can kind of go in and easily know what look I'm going for, so I'm going to keep that one. Then I have the Aether Beauty Topaz Mini Crystal Palette. Absolutely keeping this one. I really hope that she brings this back. It's stunning. I love the green golds. I love kind of the olive brown and then a nice brown to kind of top it off. This is such a beautiful kind of companion palette to her desert sunset. Like, they just go together so well, and this is one of my favorite palettes. I am going to for sure pan this inner corner highlight, and I'm digging a hole already in this shade here, so love this palette. Can't say enough good things about Aether as a whole, the company, the founder, the formula, the fact that these are fully recyclable and they have sustainability top of mind. I love this, and I can't say enough good things. I do have a video dedicated to the Desert Sunset palette that I will also leave a link down below. Then the next one's easy. All of my Olivia Palermo palettes are 1000% keep. If I had to get rid of all my other palettes, I would keep this one. I love it so much. But I'm going to keep all three. They're absolutely stunning. I do want to do more looks on my channel with these, so let me know down below if you're interested in that, and I will prioritize it in filming. We'll do another easy one. I'm keeping both the Hindash palettes. I have Beautypie and Monochromance. I can't wait to see if he does more. These are absolutely stunning. I use this one right here every single day. I have really dirtied up the shades that I use the most. I love it so much, but I also really love Monochromance. Again, I've really gotten some work in on these, and these are perfect to take with me when I'm doing wedding makeup. So that's a keep. Next, I'm absolutely keeping, if for nothing else, than to just have this in my collection. I love Trixie, I love Juno, and honestly, this palette is outstanding. If you don't want to spend the $70 on the Hindash, you get a little taste of both of his palettes in here with the purples, the pinks, the blues, and then these neutrals that are just so lovely to work with. They're not oversaturated in pigment, so they're very beginner friendly. I really like them. They blend well. It's just a really nice neutral palette that I think no one was really expecting. You do have these 4 very playful colors, which are there, but these outer 8 are just phenomenal kind of neutrals to have, especially if you're olive tone. They kind of go a little gray olive. Then another easy one is, I got this palette from Give Me Glow, but it is filled with all of my Terra Moon and JD Glow shadows that I use the most. I think outside of 2 that I actually put in the Fit Glow palette that we'll get into later, but I love these. These are my babies. We'll get into these in a swatch party very soon. Trying to get Frank to behave is not working. Okay, moving right along. I have the Wayne Goss Luxury Eye Palette in Tourmaline. This is going to go into the need to play with it more, and honestly, I really want to run the Huda Beauty against these because this is what I'm going for this fall, and I need to pull this out and make final thoughts. The formula was very good, but I think I was like torn on the color palette, but I wasn't in the mood for berry that I am now, that berry cranberry feel, so I'm going to keep playing with this, and I'm going to put it with the Huda just to swatch them after this video to see if they are dupes or not. The next one is not easy. I'm so torn. It is again Charlotte Tilbury. I just don't know. This is the Smoky Eyes Are Forever. This was her holiday collection last year. I was really into this because I love Smoky Eyes. It has some of the greens that I love. It has a matte shade that I love to set my lid and inner corner with. And then it has these shades down here. But I don't wear these happy eye shades very often. And I honestly haven't reached for this. I think I prefer the Anastasia formula better. And I also, if I want these high impact shimmers, I'm reaching into my duochromes or my Olivia Palermo, and that's more than enough for me. So I'm going to pass this along and see if someone can get more use out of it. Thank God I got that with a gift card because that was like no joke expensive. Just saying. Okay, next is a little heartbreaking too. I have 2 Makeup Geek palettes. Oh, but you know what? This I'm keeping. I was building a dupe for an old Wet n Wild, I just stroked out, an old Wet n Wild color icon palette, Lust, that I loved back in the day. I love purples, so I'm keeping this. I'm going to refine the dupes of this, but I'm also going to pop it in this kind of like archival moment here, or like needs more attention type thing. But then this one is full of Makeup Geek eyeshadows, and it's so sad because these are no longer available. These are also old as sin, and as you can see, I never reached for them because they were in this palette by themselves. So I think I'm going to clear this out and honestly potentially use this palette for some of my Salt New York or for some of my duochrome. So I'm actually going to declutter all of these individual eyeshadows and keep the palette. It's a really lovely palette. Next is the Patrick Ta original palette, and people love this, and I just am like, I don't know what it is. I think it's because like these are fun, and I used this shade when I was doing wedding makeup, and it's beautiful, but like it's just these tones aren't really for me, and it's not my preferred formula. I'd almost rather have the palette that I'm going to touch on next, so I'm going to pass this along. We also need to get rid of more. I'm like barely getting rid of any palettes. The next are my two Pat McGrath palettes. I have the Utopian Dreams. Love it, keeping. Need to pull it out more in spring and summer. And then the one I'm going to be jumping into for fall is Divine Rose 2. Love it. Definitely going to give me that smoky vibe that I'm into, so I will be keeping that. Then this one, it's time. It's time to get rid of yous. I love this, but I get some of these greeny gold tones in the Desert Sunset palette, and this is very old. You can see I love this. I have been keeping this to try to find a dupe for this, so I might do that. I'm going to keep this to try to find a dupe. It's already past the expiration date anyway. Then lastly is my Makeup by Mario Nudes palette. I wear this baby all the time. Already about to hit pan in 2 of them, so I will continue to use that up. Love it. So realistically, we are getting rid of 4 palettes and keeping 13, potentially 14 with the Wayne Goss, and archiving 3. Yes. Okay, so I just realized that I have not had my mic on, so I hope that the audio has been okay for this. But we have officially gone through all of my makeup products, minus my lip liners, like I said, but I literally have my 3 from Fit Glow, the one that goes with Canyon on Fire, my khaki lip liner, and then somewhere around here is a Wet n Wild Deep Berry, so I don't feel overwhelmed in that sense at all. But here on this side of the room, we have everything I'm getting rid of, which I feel really good about. And then on this side of the room, in this basket where I never remove tags, is all of the stuff that I really need to keep playing with and figuring out what I want to do with. So maybe we'll do a follow-up video on this in a couple of months or a couple of weeks. I also have my basket of Beautypie makeup, as well as all of the new stuff. The Merit stuff just came in, Mob Beauty just came in, which I'm very excited to talk about. I have a full face of Give Me Glow Cosmetics in the wings, my Rare Beauty that I'm trying, and a lot more from AF94 and Victoria Beckham, so be on the lookout for those. But thanks for hanging out again. We will jump into brushes. I think I'm done filming declutters for a little while. This has been an evening of sorts, if you will. Plus, I got a couple of new brushes in the mail. I got the Spectrum brushes by Katie Jane Hughes, and I have an order from Refer on their buy one get one 50% off sale coming in. So I do want to use those a little bit more before I go in and declutter brushes. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you have a fabulous day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.